Hello Scrolls fans, Smogan here with episode number 48 of Scrollscast. It's been a little while since I've been able to do one of these, but I'm excited to jump in and watch this game. We've got Tajic versus kardasdivanoglu, and it looks like it's going to be mono energy versus one of these uber enchantment creature builds. So we'll see if Tajic is able to prevent Kardas from getting his combo up and running. Tajic, I'm not sure exactly what kind of energy build he's playing. Based on the bombard, we can assume it's a ranged variant, but there's a lot of different things you can do within that build at this point. Both players are at or above 1700. I think Tajic is even over 1800, so definitely high quality players here. Kardas looks like he's got a Vengeful Vader on 2 to counter Tajic's Hired Smuggler. These scrolls sort of mirror one another with their 2-cost pillage effects. And we see the Vader come down to the bottom of the board. Tajic will have on 3 probably just a gun auto, and he'll play that in front of his Hired Smuggler, hoping to set up to potentially kill that Vengeful Vader. Kardas now has a number of enchantments in hand, of course. This turn he may be stuck just playing no ID in front of his Vengeful Vader, but really he's just setting up to lose both of those units if he does so. He may just have to accept that the Vengeful Vader is going to perish. And the reason I say that is the no ID would block the Vengeful Vader for 1 turn, but then the gun auto is going to come in and do that work anyway. I guess next turn he could maybe get a Verdant Veil on the Vengeful Vader, but that's a lot to invest in protecting 1 scroll. And it looks like he is going to go ahead and leave his Vengeful Vader out to dry, and it will potentially die right here to this Hired Smuggler. Tajic does go down, move down to kill it, also keeping the Smuggler protected. Did not have a 3-drop, did sacrifice for scrolls, and found a couple of 4-drops for next turn. Kardas now will go up to 4 and play a Wetland Ranger to the top of the board, probably to the middle right here, and he does so. So he'll set up to try to get the enchantments rolling on that scroll as quickly as he can. Tajic now going to play probably an Ekamaton in this little spot in the middle here. Gun auto is going to get a little bit of idle damage in. Hired Smuggler set up to attack next turn. Kardas finds an Earthen Mirth, perfect timing. He will have to decide if he wants to go offense or defense on this turn with that Verdant Veil or the Earthen Mirth, and if he wants to try to move down to challenge or not. And it looks like he actually sacrificed the Earthen Mirth, so I was thinking he might try for a no ID Machination Mindset combo to relentless through all these units, but it looks like he's just going to move up with his now 7 health Wetland Ranger and force Tajic to come to see him. Tajic cannot get rid of the Wetland Ranger yet. Goes up to 5 resources on and able to drop a Solemn Giant. So starting next turn, if he can get the Wetland Ranger in his sights, the Solemn Giant will be big enough to be able to take it down. Kardas gets rid of his Rat King that he pulled and finds double Leeching Ring. That's really unfortunate for him at this point. Leeching Ring not particularly strong. It's somewhat good in these particular decks, but you certainly don't want to pull 2 at a time like this. So this turn's really kind of a bust. He could no ID into Machination Mindset just for the extra damage and setting up for the future. And it looks like no ID is going to come down, Machination Mindset as well. It does go ahead and drop one of those Leeching Rings and gets in for a little bit of idle damage. The no ID is set in the middle just to, I suppose, tank for the middle idle. I think I would have rather seen him played in front of the Wetland Ranger just in case. Tajic is going to tick down his Solemn Giant and go ahead and finish off that middle idol. So Tajic's now in a position where he can take out, it looks like 3 idols in 3 turns. If I'm doing my math correctly, the Solemn Giant can take out 1, next turn 2, and then the following turn the 3rd one with help from the Ekamaton. So at this point, kardasdivanoglu will not be able to just sit and wait. He's going to have to get something up here blocking. He does find a Wildling and a Crone. Crone does fit a nice role in this deck. It's a pretty strong defensive scroll, but for now he drops a Wildling in front of the Wetland Ranger with a Stag Heart on the Wetland Ranger, up to 4-8 now, and crashing in for consistent idle damage every single turn. Tajic, let's see, he could move up to count to a challenge with that Potion of Resistance. He could also use Burn on the Wildling, which would, with the help from the Hired Smuggler, finish it off. It cost him a couple of scroll draws to do so. But it looks like he's going to tick down the Solemn Giant. He can either go for this idol and the aggression on the bottom idols, or he can challenge these 2 units. Big decision. It looks like he's going to move down. Okay, so he's going for the idols. He thinks he can take Kardas's idols out before these units get too out of control. We'll see if he's able to do so. Kardas will definitely need to get something blocking here. Lethal is on board for Tajic. Moves to the middle. Has Ragged Wolf and Crone. Sacrifices the wolf, finds a second Crone. He will be able to no ID into Crone, so he'll have some units there. Stacks it so that if the Solemn Giant is going to try to come through, it will cost him the Solemn Giant, and I believe there's nothing that can really be done about that. So Kardas will not be losing this turn. We'll be losing some units though. We'll see. Burn is played on that Crone, takes it down. And then now we'll have to decide what he wants to do with the rest of his turn here. Pitches for resources, now up to 3. Can afford to place 2 scrolls out of his hand, depending on what he chooses here. Gun Auto moves down. He'll finish off the no ID. Ekomaton will deal 1 to that back idol. And setting up for next turn, Solemn Giant. The Hired Smuggler, unfortunately, is not in a position where it will be able to survive without something blocking for it. Copper Automaton is played behind, and units come crashing in. So Kardas now finds an Earthen Mirth. With a Crone, he can buff the Wildling up to 2 so that the Wetland Ranger can finish off the Copper Automaton. So he is going to be able to take out both of those units. But that would mean he has to sacrifice his Earthen Mirth, and he's already pitched 1. That Earthen Mirth is pretty key to get the attack up to the ridiculous level. And note with Machination Mindset, Relentless is available. And I suppose with Relentless, he doesn't even need any help to get through and finish those units off. Crone is played, though, to buff up to 2 attack. Moves down to defend. Untainted played on the Crone, so that Crone is going to have to be killed by combat damage. No spell shenanigans allowed. Units crash in. Pillage is triggered. Note that the Wetland Ranger has no magic armor, but does have ward, so it is protected from violent dispersal, which is one of Tajic's only ways to deal with units with this high a health. The other way, of course, is the Solemn Giant. Kardas would love to get the health of the Wetland Ranger up to at least 9 to be able to prevent Solemn Giant from getting a sneak attack somewhere in there. Let's see what Tajic wants to do with his turn here. Triple Potion of Resistance in hand. Can't really attack profitably into the Crone. It'll cost him his Giant, which has been so key to his entire game so far. The last few rounds have been the Solemn Giant show. And it looks like he will be moving up, defending his units with the Potion of Resistance, and coming down with the Solemn Giant. Wetland Ranger will get another attack off. No Earthen Mirth in hand, though, to buff up to 8 attack, which would Relentless through and not finish off the Giant, but get it pretty close. Just creatures in hand as well. Can go no ID into, I suppose, another Wetland Ranger would be the play. But needs to, of course, continue to defend this bottom idol with at least 2 units, I would think. And he does so he's got 6 health on that bottom idol. Crone defending his key unit, and the 1 countdown Wetland Rangers are ready to go next turn. Stone Enigma for Tajic, good in certain matchups, not so good in this one, so he'll be probably pitching that scroll. If he goes up to 8 resources, he doesn't get a ton of extra play out of his hand. He can already go double Scout Auto with a Potion of Resistance on the side, so that would let him do some good work. There's 1 Scout. Still hasn't sacrificed for scrolls or resources. I guess he could go up to 8 and then count down the Solemn Giant once. He could even move up to the middle and start threatening these idols with the Solemn Giant. And Kardas would have to quickly get multiple units up there. Tajic did sacrifice for scrolls. He can afford either a potion or a copper. Looks like he's going to go potion on that Ekomaton. And then attacking. Gun Auto pops from the Crone, and then the Ekomaton gets in and finishes off the Ragged Wolf. 2 Wetland Rangers ready to attack. Kardas has double Earthborn Mystic, can only play 1 though. He's kind of in a tough position here. Very low attack on the Wetland Ranger still. Needs to find another Stag Heart to get it up to high numbers, or another Earthen Mirth. He's already sacrificed 2 Earthen Mirths, so he's only got 1 left in the bottom half of his deck. We do see Earthborn Mystic come down, and the Wetland Rangers are stifled by the Ekomaton, unable to take it down. Tajic now has Copper Auto, has Bombard, so he could try. He would need a lot of help from maybe a Machination, maybe a Machinated plus something else for Bombard to be lethal up here. Looking at what he can do. If he ticks down the Solemn Giant, of course, he can't do much else. Though with Power Trip, he will have 4 extra resources to play with if he chooses. I don't see lethal. So he's got to think about how to set himself up for next turn the best he can. He'd like to protect the Ekomaton's 3 attack that's coming in next turn. That might be really helpful. But I don't know if he'll be able to do so. At least without just losing a lot of units. He does play Replicatons to the top. Bombards them. He totally found it. He totally found lethal. He got it. So I totally missed that. A double Ekomaton Bombard. 5 attack on each of those. I forgot about the plus attack from the gun autos, and he's got lethal. Well done. Tajic able to take down the Monster Wetland Ranger deck and win the game. So this has been Smogan with Scrollscast. You can, of course, find more episodes of Scrollscast on the Badger Guild YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Leave comments and tell me what you like and what I can do better.